Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Big T coming at you today with a cigar review. Today we're going to be smoking the LFD Double Ligero. See if it'll... There we go. LFD Double Ligero. This bad boy is about $7.30. This is the 5 1/4 by 52 Robusto, the dark natural Robusto. I do like the Robusto size. It's a pretty good size, fits good in your hand, not too big, not too small. Never had one of these before. Got it from a good friend of mine, Robert Labash. He picked it up at West Side Smoke Shop up in, I believe it's Muskegon. Yep, Apple Avenue in Muskegon, Michigan. So if you're ever up this way, check them out. Yeah, so let's crack into this here. So the LFD Double Ligero was introduced in 2003 using a powerful blend of Dominican long filler and binder, finished with a silky Ecuadorian wrapper. And I don't know, I guess I don't know. I wouldn't really call this silky. It's got a fine grit to it, but I definitely wouldn't call it toothy. Got a little bit of a sheen on the wrapper. Not super oily, but it has been in the humidor for, I don't know, not quite a month, I guess. So not too long. I do like the band on it. Something about that, the black with the red and the gold. Pretty nice. I'm going to go ahead and apologize right now if you can't hear me over the traffic. Hopefully you can. As I've said before, I live on a main road out here, and we get a lot of traffic about this time of day. It's about 4:30 on a Friday afternoon. It's about 43 degrees outside. It's nice and sunny. I'm going to try and soak up some of the sun before it rains a bunch tomorrow. It's supposed to still be about 46 tomorrow, but it's going to rain all day. So take it while the getting's good, I guess. So, like I was saying, it's got an Ecuadorian sun-grown wrapper and the binder and filler from Dominican Republic. One of these bad boys is going to run you about $7.30 a stick. For a box of 20 online, that's about $145 and some change. Let's see what else do we got here. Did a little bit of homework on it. So this is considered the number 600, which is the, like I said, 5 1/4 by 52 Robusto. Yeah, so let's take a look at it. Decently firm roll. Not super squishy, but not super tight. A little bit of that sheen on the wrapper. Quite a few visible veins, but they're all fairly small veins. I got one little, I don't know if that's a seam or part of a vein there. I want to say that's a seam. Overall, it's a nice looking cigar. Aroma's got kind of like a... It's got like a mustiness to it. Like a musty, like a sweet musty kind of smell. The wind just picked up a little bit. Kind of forced up into my nasal passages a little bit. There's almost like a floral note in there too. I actually worked at a florist for a while. My mom was a florist, and that floral smell kind of reminds me of fresh cut flowers. When we're making the arrangements and whatnot, we got to cut, like if you cut a rose stem and you smell the stem that you just cut, that's kind of what it reminds me of. It's got like a subtle barnyard smell in there too. Like a musty barnyard floralness to it. On the foot, sweet tobacco. A little bit of that barnyard in there. I think that's coming from the wrapper. So, overall, pretty nice looking cigar. Nice looking band. We are going to use this new cutter I got. It's a Vertigo cutter. It goes all the way up to an 80 ring gauge, so I replaced my cheap little, well actually this is the same amount. It was $3.99. About the same I paid for my little starter cutter. But I figure this gets me all the way up to an 80 ring gauge, so no matter what I'm smoking, I'm going to be able to cut it. Good thing to have on hand, I guess. I have decided to start going to the double guillotine instead of the V-cut. The V-cut's good for, like, I like to use that for my olivas. But all these other ones, I find that, especially if you're wanting to judge the flavor well, you want to get a nice round cut on it. Cold draw. A little bit of sweet tobacco. Little bit of pepper in there too. Kind of hit me in the middle of my tongue. Just a tad bit of that barnyard kind of deal, like hay. Hay or straw. Kind of tastes how a petting zoo smells. It's kind of funny. Alright, so I'm going to try and do my best here to light this puppy with matches. The wind's a little breezy today. I'm out by the pole barn for lack of better cover. I wanted to sit out in the sun because although the air's a little chilly, the sun makes it nice and warm. But I got the sun here in front of me, and I'm kind of partially under the garage here, so let's get this puppy lit up, or at least try to, and we'll take it from there. Alright, family, we got it lit. It took a little bit. It took almost about a half a box of them dang matches to get it, but I got it. If you're wondering to yourself, and you probably are, why I didn't just use a butane lighter, well, I just hate butane lighters, guys. I mean, I like the way they work. They work great, you know. It's a very good alternative to matches, but my problem with them is I hate refilling them because it seems like no matter how much I spend on the lighter, I can follow all the proper filling techniques, you know, turning it down, purging it, getting all the air out, and no matter what, I don't know if it blows a seal or what the deal is. And on the other hand of this, I'm not willing to spend $50 on a lighter. I don't know. Maybe at some point I will, but at this point in time, that's not feasible for me. So, anyhow. Not huge smoke output. The draw is a little firm. Definitely has a nice solid tobacco core to it. You can taste the Ligero in it. Alright, so this is going to be a pairing session today. So we're going to go with Founders Brewing, the KBS. Founders Brewing right here in Michigan, Grand Rapids, Beer City, USA, folks. That's what I love about living in Michigan. Never a lack of beer. So, the KBS, these dang trucks, man. I love truckers and all, but sometimes they're a little noisy. Anyhow, Founders KBS. The KBS stands for Kentucky Breakfast Stout. It is a bourbon barrel-aged chocolate coffee stout. And Brother Lee Mac, I got one here for the books. You say you like strong beer with your strong cigars. Well, this is supposed to be a full-flavored LFD, and this is going to be a 12.3% ABV. That's a strong beer, brother. I've only had one other beer that was at a 12%, and that was also by Founders. That one is called Dirty Dancer. I do not recommend that one. It tastes like a glass of red wine, and I'm not a big fan of red wine. So I stay away from that. But being that this is a stout, hopefully it'll be creamy and more flavorful than that was. So this is a limited supply beer. Every year they bring it out about March, and it's only available from March into April. And they sell tickets from the brewery, and that ticket allows you to basically buy however many cases you want. Otherwise, it's usually, you know, an X amount per person for purchase from the brewery. I'm assuming that either the liquor store that I got this from got a special deal on it, or the owner went to Founders and purchased it himself, because I found this in a 4-pack at the local liquor store around the corner, and I haven't seen it anywhere else. You'd think with all this wind out here, it'd help keep this going. Yes, sir, that's a stout indeed. Nice dark color to it. Now, I don't have a snifter. I'm not that fancy. Instead, I'm going to use this beer mug. My uncle had a bunch of these made up for a bunch of us guys. I don't know if you can read that. It says Bob Sop, B-O-B-S-O-P. That stands for Brotherhood of Bouncers, Sons of Pain. It's a nice little group of friends that my uncles and my father came up with back when they started doing their bouncing gig. I was a bouncer for a while. It was pretty fun while it lasted, and then I made the choice to quit once I had my daughter. Kind of wanted to spend a little more time at home, and the bouncing gig was my second job, so had to get rid of that, guys. Had to get rid of it. I did even up the cigar a little bit. It's still got that kind of weird run there. I might just have to wet that down a little bit and let the rest burn up, because this box of matches is about done and I don't feel like going back in. So I might just have to get me one of those fancy Vertigo lighters. I hear they're really good lighters, and I guess I'll just have to deal with the butane, because that'd be awfully nice right about now. Tell you what. You can definitely tell that this has a lot of Ligero in it, because it's not staying lit very well. I'm having to do quite a few puffs to keep her going. Anywho, smell-wise, I don't know, you get that stout ale smell. It's got like a subtle sweetness to it. Other than that, not much on the aroma. Probably be better if I had it in a sifter. Sorry, not sifter. Ha! You don't want to sift your beer. A snifter. Snifter. See, I can't talk. It's all this Ligero. Okay. Let's give her a taste. Ooh. Yeah, that's a stout. Not bad. It's not super heavy on the tongue, which I like. A lot of stouts that I've tried are pretty heavy. Maltiness. Yeah, you get that stout maltiness in there. I don't know about the coffee flavor, but it is definitely, what I say, bourbon barrel aged or whiskey barrel aged, one of the two. Bourbon barrel aged. It is definitely bourbon barrel aged, you can tell that much. Kind of flaky ash. It's not really compact at all. The earthiness has died down just a... The earthiness has died down just a tad bit. So that's good. It's not as musty anymore. Seems to be rolling pretty well now, so hopefully my lighting issues are done with. Minus this canoe I got going on here. There's just a tad spiciness on the finish, but overall it's not super spicy or super peppery. That's good. I'm not a big pepperhead. Shout out to brother Terry. Saw you on Lee Mac's video the other day. He stopped by and had a cigar with him. You're wearing some Federated gear, brother. Well, guess what? I'm wearing my Federated gear today. Federated Auto Parts, out the door in 4, baby. So your hat said car care. This one is particularly from my uncle's shop that he has here in Holland, and it's a straight up parts store that's not a service store, so that might explain the different logo. But from what I've heard, Federated is has a wide range of investments, so I'm sure they cover both car care and car products and accessories. Yeah. Alright guys, you can call me ill-prepared if you want. I guess I'm just going to have to deal with this uneven burn. It's either that or I'm going to have to keep getting up and trying my hand at these matches. So, despite my previous comment about butane lighters, I might just have to invest in a really nice one, I guess. I did have a $10 Scorch Torch 3-jet one, and it worked very well the initial time I filled it and one time after that, and I don't know what happened, but the third time I went to fill it, I filled it, followed all the proper, procedures as far as purging and whatnot, and I don't know, I must have blew a seal or something on it because it didn't hold any fluid. I filled it up, and you're supposed to let it sit for 20 minutes. I let it sit for a good half hour, 45 minutes. Came back to her and clicked her over, nothing, just for shits and giggles, I purged the valve and nothing came out. So I guess $10 isn't good enough for a lighter like that. I might have to buy me one of those fancy dancy Vertigo lighters that I always hear brother Lee Mac talking about. Might have to get me one of those, brother. The retrohale on this has calmed down quite a bit. It was pretty robust. It was kind of hitting the nasal passages a little hard. It's mellowed out a lot. It's supposed to be full flavored, full strength. I'm a little leery now about full strength cigars. The last one I tried was the Evo Synchro. Got a little bit of sickness after that one, I'll tell you what. And it's not that I smoked it too fast. It took me a good hour and a half to finish that puppy. I'd say we're well into the first third, being that it's a 5-incher. Still got that earthiness to it. I can taste a little bit of like light nutty flavor coming through. It has mellowed out a lot though. That first inch there was a little bit of a doozy for me. It was definitely full flavored the first inch, and we're starting to mellow out a little bit. Excuse me. Good beer. As far as the KBS goes, Still not really getting any of the coffee. It's good though. Definitely a stout. Like I said, I haven't tried very many stouts, but I would actually say this one is subpar to. I had a tart stout. It's called Tart Side of the Moon by Vivant Brewery, which is another brewery here in Michigan. That one was really good. That's a limited edition, so I'll be lucky if I ever come across that one again. I actually got it in a variety pack. And it only came with one can of it, of course. I can't give you all the good stuff. If you guys haven't gathered yet, I do these videos off my phone, and I'm at about 25% battery. Not sure how long the camera's going to last here. We're about halfway, and yeah, that run is not getting any shorter, folks. I've tried all I can do. Unfortunately, I don't have any sort of butane lighter to even that back out, and even if I wanted to try and use matches, it's just not working for me. I ran through that whole box of matches between getting it lit and trying to even her out, and I'm just not having any luck with those things, guys. So I have no other option. I'm going to have to buy me a fancy lighter the next paycheck I get. Not a complete loss, I guess. Being that this is an expensive hobby, I guess I would have to have an expensive lighter to go with the hobby, right? Oh, that's all part of the fun anyway. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and give you some final thoughts here on this. Because, like I said, I don't know how long the battery life's going to last here. So, golly, family, she almost went out on me. So it's not working out how I planned it. This is probably going to be a terrible video, but towards the middle here, still got that solid tobacco core. You can definitely taste the Ligero in it. Ligero. Yeah, you can definitely taste the Ligero in it. Ligero. See, it's like an automatic thing. I just keep correcting myself there because it doesn't sound right. Other than that, a little bit of earthiness. That mustiness hangs on for a bit at the beginning, but then it kind of fades out after you're well into the first 2 inches or so. Getting down towards the band, or at least on this side I am. This side not so much. So I'm not getting the full effect here. I might have to revisit this one just to make it an even trade. So what I'm gonna do, I didn't get a coffee. There's a little bit of nutty, a little bit of a woody, some earthiness. That's about it. Not a whole lot of complexity. What I'm going to do here, I do have a little bit of the KBS left in the glass. I'm going to finish that up. We'll take a few more tokes off of this puppy here, and I might call it quits on it, unfortunately. I do have some other stuff to get done yet today. So I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to head on in and throw my numbers into the spreadsheet, and I'll be back with my overall rating for you guys. Stay tuned. Okay guys, back in the house. I'm going to run the numbers down for you real quick. Again, this is for the LFD Double Ligero. Construction, I'll give it a 3. Actually, you know what? Construction, I'm going to give it a 2. I know I didn't have the proper lighting utensils that I probably should have, but it still burned pretty unevenly. I'm not too happy about that. So we'll actually go construction a 2. A price, I'll give it a 3. That's about average price, I would say, for something like that. Flavor, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 3. I mean, you had like some nuttiness, some earthiness. It had a couple little different flavors in there. Nothing too spectacular, though. Complexity, I'm going to give it a 1. It wasn't really all that complex. The only shift that we had really was going from a full strength to more of a medium, or sorry, a full flavor to like a medium flavor about halfway through. So, not that complex in my idea. So that's going to bring us to an overall rating of a 2.25, 2.25 out of 5. So again, that's the LFD Double Ligero. I definitely will revisit this once I get my fancy dancy lighter handy, and maybe on not such a windy day. Spring's coming up, so I'm keeping some high hopes for some well-weathered days here. Get a couple more reviews going on, and get out of the garage for a while, man. I've been doing videos in that garage for a while, and it's just getting old. So now, I know this was a crappy video, right? So I'm going to ask a couple favors of you. If you could hit either thumbs up or thumbs down, that'll give me an idea, you know, what did you like the video or not. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and still can't talk. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That'll get you access to all my new content. And once you've done that, go ahead and hit the notification button, that little bell that pops up, and accept that. So that way, when I post new stuff on here, you won't have to go looking for it, because, hey, it'll already be right there waiting for you. Again, guys, Big T, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Peace.